A very good morning, class 10 students. I welcome you all on this online platform provided by Jagrati Classes. Today we are going to start a new chapter from class 10 science, that is chapter 11th, Human Eye and the Colorful World. So now in this chapter, some introductory portion of the chapter is being deleted. That is, you now do not have to study the deleted, according to the deleted portion, the structure of human eye and the corresponding defects and their correctness. So the introductory topic, which was the human eye, its structure, you do not have to study now this portion, okay? So this human eye, the structure of human eye, what is being deleted is the structure of human eye, then the defects of eye are also being deleted, and their corrective measures, that is what kind of lens you have to wear if you have different types of defects. So all these have been deleted according to the latest syllabus prescribed by CBSE. That is, now we'll be only studying whatever comes under the topic of the colorful world. So with this, we'll be beginning our chapter with the refraction of light through a prism. With this heading, we'll be beginning the chapter, and then we'll be studying applications of dispersion and everything. First we'll study all the kinds of phenomena, and then we'll be studying that how rainbows are being observed in the environment, then why do stars twinkle, why the color of sky which we see is always blue and not red. Okay, so answers to all these questions we'll be studying in this chapter. So this chapter is quite interesting and it is very easy. Just these topics have been deducted, rest all the chapter is in your syllabus. So we'll be studying according to the latest syllabus prescribed by CBSE due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So let's start our chapter. So the first topic which we'll be studying in this chapter is refraction of light through the prism. Okay, so we'll be studying this topic, the first topic of our chapter, and the phenomena or the process of refraction of light through a prism. This phenomena is known as dispersion of light. So actually we are studying the first topic as dispersion of light. So if you are asked to define the dispersion of light, then it would be similar. That is, dispersion means the phenomena of refraction of light through a prism when a white light passing through the prism gets scattered or gets dispersed into its 7 constituent colors. So let's write the definition of dispersion. The definition of dispersion is what? It is a phenomenon in which the white light which passes through the prism gets separated out into its 7 constituent components. So this is the process of dispersion what you have in front of you. That is, splitting of white light into 7 colors is called dispersion in simple words. So here you see you have a white light and this is your glass prism. So when a white light actually has 7 colors, and the mixture of 7 colors produces a white colored light. So whenever this white light is passed through a prism, you can see refraction occurs, because here you have the medium to be air, and inside the prism you have the medium to be glass. And compared to the glass, this air is a rarer medium and the glass is a denser medium. So because the light is entering from different medium to again a very different medium, from air to glass, and because it is entering from rare to denser medium, it would bend towards the normal. So this white ray bends towards the normal. Again it is entering, now this light, this is the white light is your incident ray. This is what This surface is called as the air glass interface. I told you all these concepts we have done in our previous chapter, light, reflection and refraction. So interface is what? Interface is the boundary which separates the two medium. Okay, so this line would be the air glass interface. Then due to refraction, this ray would be called as the refracted ray. And when this refracted ray, as you can see in the diagram, this refracted ray again passes from the glass to the medium air. So again refraction would occur, and due to this second refraction which is occurring at which interface? This one would be the glass air interface. And due to the refraction, these 7 colors or all these rays of light, they would be called as the emergent rays. All these terms we have discussed in our previous chapter, chapter 10, and now we are just revising. The light which is firstly incident on the prism or any surface is called the incident ray. Then after refraction you name it as the refracted ray, and then further when it gets refracted the second time, it is now called as the emergent ray. And here you can see in dispersion, this white light constitutes or splits into 7 different colors, and all these 7 different colors, they are named as VIBGYOR. The sequence here is VIBGYOR, which is followed. Okay, violet, indigo, blue, green, then this is yellow, orange and red. So these are the 7 colors which constitute in a white light, and this whole process of splitting is known as dispersion. So I hope this is clear. Now we will be naming on all the rays, and then we will be drawing the normal. So there is a diagram given in an activity, okay, from your books. So this is the figure from your books which is being given. In this you will be naming the rays and the different angles formed. So here the ray PQ, if you can see it clearly, this is P, this is Q. And this ray is PQ is being incident on the prism surface. So this PQ would be your incident ray here. Firstly we will be naming all the rays, and then we will move on to the angles. So PQ makes your incident ray. Okay, this blue line, the blue dotted line which is being drawn, see, a line here it is being drawn, and this blue dotted line, it is the normal. Normal is what? Normal ray is a ray which is perpendicular to the interface. So this normal ray, it makes an angle 90 degree with the interface. This is your interface, as I told you earlier. So now when the light is entering from a rarer medium which is air to a denser medium glass, then when it enters from rare to denser, it bends towards the normal, and hence you can see this light ray, this is the original part of the light ray. This path which is being shown, this gives you the original path where the light should have moved. Okay, so this is the path where it should have moved if no prism was present here. But because of the presence of a prism, the mediums become different, and because of difference in medium, this light ray, it bends towards the normal. This is your normal. So instead of going straight, now it is bending towards the normal here. Okay. Wait a minute, I'll insert the picture once more. See, this is the picture in front of you, and we said that because the light ray should move straight, but due to refraction taking place, this light ray, it bent towards the normal, and this is the path which is being followed. So this ray PQ was our incident ray. Now this ray is named as EF. So here EF would be named as refracted ray. So EF is your refracted ray. Now after again, now this medium is glass, outer medium is air. So once this refracted ray is moving again at the interface, it would undergo second refraction, and as a result you can see you have a normal drawn here. This is again your normal ray, okay? And this refracted ray, it should have gone straight. But how it should have gone, if I extend this, then this should be the path which should be followed by the refracted ray. But because again a change in medium occurs at the interface, so the next refraction takes place at this interface. And due to this refraction, what happens is, due to the refraction, the refracted ray now bends away from the normal, because it is entering from a denser medium to a rarer medium. And due to the entry from denser to rarer, it would bend away from the normal. So as you can see, this is your normal ray. This ray is the normal ray. And this is the extended path of refracted ray. That is the path which it would have followed when the prism would be absent here. But because the prism is present, now it is not bending towards the normal. It is going away from the normal. I hope this is clear. This is the original path. This is the normal here. So it is going more away from this normal. And this ray, that is the ray RQ or RS, here it is written. So this ray RS would be your emergent ray. Okay, let's write down here also, the ray RS would be the emergent ray. So I hope all the naming of these three rays are well clear. Now you have to study what is the angle of incidence, angle of refraction, and then you have angle of emergence. So angle of incidence is the angle formed between incident ray and normal ray. This is your incident ray. This is your normal ray. Angle between both these rays, this angle I is known as angle of incidence. Then you have to study angle of refraction. So angle of refraction is the angle between refracted ray and normal ray. So here this is your refracted ray and this is your normal ray. So angle between refracted and normal, this angle R is called the angle of refraction. Okay, this was angle I, this is angle of refraction. And now you also have to study one more angle. You do not, okay, firstly I have written angle of emergence. So angle of emergence is the angle between emergent ray. So RS, this ray is your emergent ray and this is the normal ray. So the angle between emergent ray and normal ray, this would give you angle E, angle of emergence. And next you also have one more angle, which is the angle of deviation. Here it is written angle of deviation. So angle of deviation is what angle? If you extend your incident ray. So as you can see in the diagram, this incident ray, if no refraction would be there, then this was the original path of incident ray. And if I extend this emergent ray back, so this is the tracing back the path of emergent ray. So the angle between this extended incident ray and the extended back emergent ray, this angle is called angle of deviation. Angle of deviation is present between the incident ray, that is the extended incident ray, and the traced back emergent ray. So between both these rays, the angle D where it is present, it is known as angle of deviation. This is angle of incidence, angle of refraction, angle of emergence, and angle of deviation. I hope the naming is clear. And here this angle A, okay, the prism is marked as A, B and C. So here the angle A is known as angle of prism. So these are all the terminologies which are being used, and I hope you have known this normal from previous video lectures. Normal is what? Normal is the perpendicular ray which is perpendicular to the interface. Interface is what? The boundary. Now this we have discussed what is the meaning of the word interface. Interface is the boundary between two different media. Okay, so this completes the process of dispersion in detail. These are the namings of various rays. And this is the phenomenon and the definition of dispersion. That is, dispersion is splitting of white light into its 7 constituent colors when the white light is being refracted through the prism. All these words are very important, and this completes the phenomena of refraction. Now there is an experiment which is given in your books, and such experiment, it was performed by Newton. So Newton was the scientist who performed this sort of experiment. What he did is, he took one prism and he observed dispersion of light, which we have discussed. Now he took a same kind of prism and put it in an inverted form. Okay? What he did is, he took a similar kind of prism and put the prism in an inverted form. So he observed that when the light passes through one prism, it gets dispersed and it gets split into the 7 colors, as you can see between the space between both the prism. Okay, so in this you can see that this is the light of 7 colors when the light is passed from the first prism, and this is called dispersion of light. But when a same kind of inverted prism is placed, what happens is, this white light, again this 7 colors of light, they again recombine, they join together, and again a white beam of light is being observed. So this experiment is also called as the double prism effect or the double prism experiment. And this was performed by Newton. So what is a double prism experiment? You can write that when white light passes through a prism, it gets split or it gets dispersed into 7 constituent colors. But when a similar kind of prism is placed in an inverted form in the path of 7 colors, then these 7 colors again get united, they again get recombined to form a single beam of white light. And this experiment is called as double prism experiment. It was performed by Newton. Okay, so I hope this is clear. You could also be asked in double prism experiment, what is the input and output? So the input is also white light and the output which we get is also the white light. So which two processes are involved in the double prism experiment? The first process is dispersion, which occurs due to the presence of first prism, and due to the presence of second inverted prism, you have the process which is known as recombination. So these are the two processes involved in this experiment. Now next is what? Next you have to know a concept which is, how does rainbow formation occurs? Okay, you can get a question in examinations, and this concept is even given in your books. That is, how does rainbow formation occurs? So this is the diagram in front of you. What happens is, during rainbow formation, the drops of water, that is the raindrop, it also behaves like a prism. So we'll write it in points that during rainbow formation, the raindrop present in the environment, it behaves as a glass prism. And because the raindrop behaves as a glass prism, the white sunlight, this white light is coming from the sun, okay? So the white light coming from the sun, it gets split, it splits up into 7 colors, 7 different components of light, and this phenomena is what? Dispersion here. Due to refraction at the air-water interface. Here you have the outer medium to be the air and the inner medium is water. So due to refraction at the air-water interface, the white lights get splitted up into the 7 constituent colors. And this all process, that is refraction occurring at an interface and involving the splitting of light into 7 colors, this process is called dispersion. So here in short you can say dispersion occurs. You can see in the diagram, the white light which is coming from the sun at this interface. This is what? This is the air-water interface. Because it is a boundary separating two different medium, the inner medium inside the raindrop is water, and outside the raindrop you have the medium to be air. So when the white light comes from one medium to the other medium, it undergoes a refraction, and in turn this white light, you can see it is splitting up into the 7 different constituent colors. And because this white light splits into 7 different constituent colors, now what happens is, all the colors, they strike at this surface of the raindrop. Now what happens is, after this refraction, the colors do not go out from the raindrop again into the environment. As we have seen in the case of prism, this white light enters, then this would be the refracted ray, and now the rays again go out from the prism. But here, this raindrop is behaving as a prism, but the rays after refraction are not going out. They are again getting reflected, okay? So here, if I'm saying here the process of refraction is occurring, then the rays, they can go out from the surface like this. But these are not showing this kind of phenomena. Apart from this, they are again getting reflected. So at this surface of the raindrop, the process of reflection is occurring, okay? We'll be dealing with this reflection. This kind of reflection is called total internal reflection, okay? That is the phenomena of TIR. Total internal reflection occurs at this surface of the raindrop. I'll be telling you why this reflection occurs and why the rays are not moving outside now. Because if raindrop is a prism, then the white light, when it enters the prism, it gets split into 7 components, and these 7 components move out from the prism. But here, because a reflection is occurring, which is called total internal reflection, the rays are getting reflected again internally, okay? So we'll be dealing with this process. This was the direction after refraction, and now the rays are going, that is, they are getting reflected internally in the inside of raindrop, and after reflection, what you observe is, you observe these rays are now again getting refracted at this interface. So refraction occurs 2 times, and 1 time total internal reflection occurs. And when the light rays, they get reflected, they strike this interface, this surface, and after striking this surface, the light rays move out of the raindrop, and then you observe a rainbow formed, okay? This pattern is the rainbow which is being observed. So in this manner, now what happens is, due to the refraction and reflection from one raindrop, the intensity of color would not be high. But you know, because in practical situation during rains, a large number of raindrops are present in the environment, okay? Talking about the practical situation, you have many raindrops, and each raindrop will do the refraction, reflection, everything, and then you have a bright rainbow formed due to so much large amount of refraction taking place. So this is just a story how one raindrop is responsible for forming the rainbow, and in the similar manner, all the raindrops present in the environment would form the rainbow, and you observe a very beautiful circular, okay, semicircular rainbow pattern in the sky, if you are lucky to watch it. So this is how the rainbow formation occurs. Now I hope you can write it in words. We have written that raindrop behaves as a prism. White light coming from the sun, it splits up into 7 colors due to refraction. At this interface, this one would be the first refraction, which is called as dispersion. Then after dispersion, what occurs? A total internal reflection occurs, and then now, due to total internal reflection, the rays are again striking on this interface. This is what? The water. This is a water-air interface. And now, when the light ray are coming from the water to the air medium, then they again undergo refraction here. So here again refraction occurs, and then you have the rainbow formation. Now I'll be explaining in detail what do you mean by total internal reflection. Firstly, look at the summary for this rainbow formation. So during rainbow formation, three processes occurs, that is, two types of process occurs. First one is reflection. This reflection, I told you, it is known as total internal reflection. And the next process is 2 times refraction occurs at the interface. So this is the sunlight, the direction of sunlight. It enters from air medium to the water medium, so it undergoes first refraction. Then after undergoing, the rays do not move out as in the case of prism, but they again get reflected back, which is called total internal reflection. And when these reflected rays, they strike the interface between two different medium, again the process of refraction occurs. So remember, you have been asked, okay, in exams if you are being asked that how many types of process occur during rainbow formation, then you have to write 2 types, which is reflection and refraction. But you can be asked how many times refraction occurs. So the answer would be refraction occurs 2 times, whereas this reflection, it occurs only 1 time, that is only at the back surface of the raindrop. So now you have to remember some conditions, that what is the condition to observe a rainbow. Condition for rainbow formation. So you should have a suitable position of these raindrop and the sunlight. As you can see in the diagram, the sunlight which is coming from the sun, of course, so the sun should be, here the observer should be present, okay? Here you should have the eye of observer, then only he or she would be able to see this rainbow pattern. So what are the conditions? That sun should be present at the backside of the observer. So sunlight which is coming, the sun should be present. If I want to observe a rainbow, then the sun should be present behind me and the raindrop should be present ahead of me. Then only the sunlight coming, and due to refraction, I will be able to see the rainbow. So sun should be present at the backside of the observer, and the raindrops must lie to the front of the observer. Then only we will be able to see the rainbow, or else no rainbow formation would be visible. So this is the only reason that not in every monsoon or in every rains we are able to see the rainbow. Whenever the sun and the raindrops have a particular position, then only the observer or the humans are able to see the rainbow formation in sky. And I hope how the rainbow forms, it is clear. We have discussed refraction in detail. Now we will be discussing the phenomena of total internal reflection in detail. So for determining the phenomena of total internal reflection, you have to know some facts, that is, what do you mean by the term reflection? Reflection is a basic term which is bouncing back of incident light rays after striking a smooth polished surface back to its original environment. Okay? So we have done this already in the previous class. So let's see the process of reflection. Reflection is what? Consider that this is a incident ray which I have. So this incident ray, and we are considering 2 different mediums, that is, here we can have a denser medium and above we have a comparatively rarer medium. So when the light ray enters from a denser to a rarer medium, what would happen is, you know, this is the perpendicular normal ray. So when the light enters from denser to rarer medium, it should bend away from the normal, and hence if I draw the refracted, this is your incident ray, it should move at this path, but because it is undergoing a change in medium, so the speed of light would change and refraction would occur. So this incident ray would be refracted away from the normal. Now you have the same normal here, This is the normal ray again. And now what I am doing is, let's suppose this is the angle of incidence, and now I am increasing the angle of incidence. As you can see in the diagram, the previous angle, if I am taking it to be 35 degrees, so now the angle of incidence which I have is, let's suppose, 50 degrees. So when the angle of incidence will increase, then the angle of refraction would also increase. That is, more the incident ray goes away from the normal, more the refracted ray will also bend away from the normal itself. This one is your refracted ray. So in this case, refracted ray bent to this extent from the normal itself. But in this case, the bending of refracted ray would be more away from the normal because we have increased the angle of incidence. And if I further increase the angle of incidence, then a condition would come when the refracted ray, it bends so much away from the normal that it becomes parallel to the interface. So this is my incident ray. Let's consider this angle to be 75 degrees approximately. So this ray, what would happen is, my refracted ray would become parallel to the interface, as you can see in the diagram. And this would make an angle 90 degree with the normal ray. Now if I further increase the angle, that is, consider this to be the fourth case. So I have increased my angle of incidence very much. I have taken it to be 85 degrees. I increased the angle from 75 to 85. So what do I observe is that now the refracted ray, because it had already become parallel to the medium or parallel to the interface, now it undergoes this kind of refraction. So this would be my refracted ray. And because you can see the incident ray and the refracted ray, they are present in the same medium. So this kind of process is called as total internal reflection. So I hope the process is clear, and this certain process occur in the raindrops. The reflection process is called total internal reflection. And this angle at which the refracted ray becomes parallel to the interface, this angle is termed as the critical angle of incidence. So at the critical angle, the refracted ray, it becomes parallel to the interface. And after this, if you further increase the angle of incidence, then the refracted ray, it comes to the same medium, and this phenomenon is called as total internal reflection. So I hope this rainbow formation and the two phenomena which we discussed in today's class, that is dispersion and the next is total internal reflection, this is clear. So thank you for joining today's class, and please do study all these topics. In the next class, we'll be starting with why do the stars twinkle and the planets do not twinkle, and some more application based questions for this chapter. So this is a very interesting chapter. Do learn all the phenomena and some of the questions which are given as applications. Thank you for joining today's class. Stay home, stay safe, and yes, keep studying.